Hello, I'm sharing with you today the only master key to building your social capital. Building your social capital. Yes, one with the master key. Come on now, the master key. You know what I want to do? I have to share it. So while I'm doing that, would you be kind to start sharing? Let's get other people in the room quickly, as fast as possible. I'm trying to do that. I wish there were a faster way of doing that. I'm trying to bring in a few people and more people in. Honestly, today, I'm not going to spare. I'm going to run you through these mega concepts that I've discovered. Yes, you may wonder to say, what is it about? Don't wonder. You just come in with me and, of course, start sharing. Tell people, so that we come in the room and we have this nice time of sharing. Yes, and learning together. Learning, unlearning, relearning, and all of that. It's a wet day here in Lagos, Nigeria. I want to have fun today. I just want to enjoy myself in this session. I want to enjoy myself today. I want to enjoy myself. All right, just share it. Tell somebody to tell somebody. And I know that later, quite a number of people are going to join us later. Nice to have you, Ikeria. Thank you, my precious. Dr. Fumi Babintina Shaya, my sister. Love you, sister. All right, everyone. Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. I think I came in a bit early, yes, but I think it's time now. And there's a lot we have to discuss today. Within the 30 minutes, there's a lot to discuss. So I'm just going to get into it so that people can generally share later, and those who come in will join us later. And today I want to deepen the conversation we've been having for some weeks now. 3-4 weeks back, we've been speaking to the concept of networking, the need to build your social capital, and the need to extend, relationships and deepen them, because that is the only way, is a quick way to growth actually in life. The difference between where you are now, where you want to be, and where you can be will have to do with your relationships. Very important. And I know the import of relationships in my life. Yes, not just love relationships, but other people, what they do for us. Okay, yes, I'm hearing to say, Hannah, slow us down. We're just trying to come in. All right. Yes, come in. And then, all right. So let me go. So what I want to share today is a universal code. It works everywhere, whether you are a black man, a woman, a yellow-colored, multi-racial, any dimension. This code works. Honestly, it works everywhere. It's a global or local code, to open relationships. It works, like I said, all over the world. Asia, America, wherever, North America, anywhere. This code works. And it's my coinage. Yeah, it's my own coinage, it's my description of it, it's my explanation of it from experience. Okay, right. And I call it CV. When you hear CV, sometimes you think it's a curriculum vitae. It's not. I'm speaking to us today, and I'm sharing with us, so that we learn. We just share together on what I call contextualized value. Contextualized value. What does that mean? We know when you say something is contextualized, it means you're situating it within a particular environment where it happens. When I say I'm putting something in context, it means I'm keeping it within the environment of its operations or where it's actually happening. What is this? Okay, so it is your ability to pinpoint the confluence where what your target audience needs is in sync with what you can deliver and your values all aligned. So there are 3 key buckets here, and I was trying to put you know, a scripting around it, but I'm not sure you can see it so well, but you can see those 3 circles. You know how you draw big 3 circles and you put a confluence in between that point. Yes, this point of the intercept here. So you have, if one circle is you, if the other circle is your target, that is the network you're trying to cut. The third one is the values, or are the values, the interests, you know, the norms, the beliefs that you both have. Now, there is a center here, this point of confluence, or the point of intercept, where both of you align with values. So there's something you can give, there's something the person can receive, and there's your values align. Once your values don't align, it becomes difficult. So that point is the key. And once you get in any relationship, it brings a difference to your life. And I'm going to share really practical examples, like, you know, I always want to do. All right. The truth is, anyone you're shadowing today, who you want to meet, has an area of need in his or her life. There's something that person is looking for. It doesn't have to be money. Most times, they are not the big things, you know. They are little things, but they are there. There are areas of desire that person has. And most times also, there are 1 or 2 things you can give from your side. I will deepen it, you know. Right. So how do we combine both? How do you link both? Remember, and I've been sharing this last couple of weeks, that by observation, when you observe people, you can know what is in need. When you network with their pseudo networks, like I said, you will know what they need, you know. When you ask questions, I never spoke about questions. The skill of asking questions is a very strong skill. If you know how to ask the right questions, you will know a lot. So that's a conversation for some other time. So you must know how to ask questions, the right questions and all. That helps you discover. Now, you remember, and if I have not said that, let me say again, there are 5 broad areas, you know, where these confluences or influences or situations can be contextualized as you want to build your social capital. Remember what your social capital is the value of your person in relation to certain dynamics. Let me leave that there. But we know what it is to network, how you want to come into the life, into the spectrum, into the, you know, the vicinity, into the arena of some people, be it business arena, social arena, spiritual arena, whatever it is, all right? And you know, there are 5 areas. It can be family, domestic. Sometimes what you're looking for, the confluence I just showed you, will happen in the place of family. Sometimes it's finance. When it's finance, that can be in business or in career. Yes, those can be the platforms. It can be spiritual, religion. This is where spirituality brings you together. All right? So your connection is around the spiritual realm or level or angle. Sometimes it can be society general. Society, it can be as general or as generic as, you know, you have social impact interest, political interest, economic interest, and other interests, you know. So that can be, and it can be generally, it can just be personal interest. Personal interest, like fashion put you together, you know. Sports bring you together, travels bring you together, teaching, food, you know, any other thing can be, you know, it can be the basis. Thank you all. Thank you Oladipo. Thank you Tunde. Thank you Itu. Thank you all for joining. Right, can be what is pulling you together. This is where I'm going. Remember, I'm speaking to you today on contextualized value, and I said this one is a global key. It opens the door for you to network and to build your capital, social capital, anywhere in the world. This one is called contextualized capital, contextualized value, which I want to call CV. So each time we say CV, bear in mind the CV is not curriculum vitae, but it's your contextualized value. All right. So let me share experience and bring it home. Remember, I've said when it's contextualized, it means you are situating it within an environment. Okay. I give an instance. Domestic, for example. So some years ago, this was in the 90s, you know, mid-90s or midnight thereabout. I had a set of twins by God's grace, and we were also, my husband was a pastor, so that meant I was a pastor's wife and all of that. And as at that time, I was very Our house was very open to people, very open. You know, pastors now, and you know, you see somebody, she doesn't have a house. I'm like, let her come and stay with us. Now, we had a 4-bedroom apartment. We married about a year or so earlier and all of that. So the house was there and all. So I was bringing people into the house and all. And I realized there were 3 categories of people and relationships in that house, at least minimum of 3. But speaking to those who were living with us, I categorized them into 3. Some were, number 1, positive, 2, negative, and 3, so-so. Not positive, not negative. Any which way. Let me speak to the positive first. Let me speak to the so-so. The so-so is so-so. As in, if they are not there, you don't miss. If they are there, you don't miss. If anything, nothing. They don't add, they don't remove. They are just plastic. They are just there. That's not good. That's not who you want to be in a relationship. That's not you. If you are that kind of a person, you have not contextualized your value in that relationship. Okay? Today is a bit tough, isn't it? I'm getting into techniques. And I know people like stories, but sometimes you've got to get into techniques. I have to fuse this all together. All right. Then let me tell you about the no. The no one, the negative ones are people who stayed with me. They lived with me. They lived with us. They stayed with us, but they added no value at all. 0. Almost. You use my, you see what they do, huh? Remember, I'm a woman. And as a woman that had a set of twins, life was a bit challenging in terms of not only finances with the family. We were pastors and pastors' wives, so we were managing many things. And then the children, the pressure with twins at a time was a big issue. Those were days when we didn't have money to buy, Pampers. Pampers was for Sunday, it was for church. We were using napkins. Napkins. And you know how little babies can that's it. They poo a lot. So by 2 hours, from both of them, you have the pail is full of napkins. We could only hire people, house help, who will come and stay. Some will leave, some come in and go. So it was a tough time. And at the same time, I was a career woman, even though I was yes, I think I had even resumed at some part. After 3 months, you have to go back to work. And so, practically speaking, it was a tough time for me as a woman. And then in the house, anybody if you accommodate anybody, the person is feeding on you. Take it. Right? Now, the person is using your toothpaste sometimes. Some of them will use your toothpaste. Mama, there's no soap. You bring out one soap. Really, your money was going into that. Now, I'm telling you about those who were negative, who were people that they did. There was one lady, and I'm not going to mention names. There was one lady. I think this lady's final. I think this one has passed on. When she comes into when she goes to work, when she's coming from work, she would have bought dundu. If you know dundu, I got dundu or dundu. Fried plantain, maybe with fried chips, maybe with a asun or something. She will wrap it, put it in her bag, sometimes with a bottle of Coke or something, add it in her bag. As she's entering the house, most times I'll be in the living room because the children, you're trying to do one or the other, you're trying to cook and all that. Oh, she'll just greet. Ekule in Yoruba West means una well done, no, good afternoon or good evening. And she goes straight into her room, the guest room. Right? She goes straight into the room and she shuts the door, and that's what it is. Until maybe the following morning again, or afternoon or evening when she returns from work. Ladies and gentlemen, what that meant was that for this lady, she was not adding any value. It's when we want to, clean up the room, dust the bin, you now begin to see, pardon me, those days we had rats. So hello, let me tell you as it is. I wasn't living in a prime area, prime. We're living in a comfortable, sufficiently comfortable area. Remember, this was in the 90s. It is the paper, the wrapper of her dundu, of her fried yam and plantain chips, and dodo that you will be seeing, will be attracting rat into the house. She wasn't adding value to me. So when it comes to contextualized value, she was a negative. And I could suffer fools. By my nature, even though when I don't want to back, I get really bad at that. But I can excuse things for people. And I was condoning. So, negative. Till tomorrow. Do you think when she needed to leave, when I saw the opportunity for her to leave, do you think I did? I fueled it to say, yes, you just have to go. It's fine. You can go because it's fine. Now, let me now frame it to and add it to the positives. Remember what we're speaking about, how to build your social capital, networking well. And today I'm giving you a global key, master key. And I term it CV, your contextualized value. Value that is situated. And this one, it never fails anywhere. Whether Oyibo, whether black, any career, across spectrum, it works. Now, let me tell you about the positive. The positive experience is one of our daughters, who is a mentee of mine. Today, by God's grace, she's a very senior, she's a director and executive in the industry and a pride to us. What will she do? That time, as she's coming from work or looking for work or coming, as she enters the house, first thing is, Mama H, what is there to do? First thing, maybe I'm trying to struggle with one of the twins because they were two, or I'm trying to go. In fact, once she's arriving, I'm taking a vacation. I'm on leave, more or less, because as she's entering from the door, she's dropping her bag on the sofa, and she's gone into the kitchen. Mama, bring this one, let me bake this one, let me carry this. In fact, when she wakes up, this other lady, when she wakes up in the morning, before I wake up in the morning, she swept the house. When she's going out, she's asking, should I buy anything? In fact, sometimes when she's coming back home, she's bringing a small loaf of bread. She's bringing, granuts. I'm talking about contextualized value for you to be relevant in life and build your social network and capital. Sometimes it's nothing big. And I've just told you about the other lady in the house who will go out and buy suya and buy asun and buy dodo and wrap it, enter her room, eat the thing, and does, the same setting, the same environment, but the kind of values I got from them in terms of contextualizing it was very different. So for one person, and you see how life actually then play out. For all of those who were negative, who weren't adding value to my life, to be honest, if I look at them today, they didn't go too far. For all of those who added value, if I look at them today, they've gone so far. One of those days, this my lady I'm speaking about said to me, said, Mama, you didn't know, you even wrote my first CV for me. I'm like, I can't even remember. I said, you taught me how to write my now curriculum vitae. Because so she came with intention to shadow, to learn, and then to add value. In little way to say, where is the gap here? Let me fill it. Gentlemen and ladies, if you're listening to me today, in your office, if you're a business person in your office, if you're a worker, do you know in my office, let me bring it to career and business. In career and business, I've worked with people, and everywhere, you can assess people. You can put names to people who add value to your life. This one is different from work. It's different from assignments. Yes, not just doing the assignment, but it's like there are people in my life, and I see them everywhere. I've also worked who I can say this one is a valuable person to me. Why? There are people who will not allow anything drop, whether or not you are there. Sometimes I have one or two people that have worked with me by God's grace who, even if it's 12 midnight, I can bank on them. And at the same time, there are still people also in my life that I will give things to, and I will have my eye open. One eye is open. Not competence, not because the person can do or it's not competence. It's just a behavior. It's just because such people, and maybe that's you, don't pay attention to say, look, I must be deliberate to adding value to the lives of people. Do you understand? In the spiritual space, it's the same thing. So that's why I'm telling you that this is a global model everywhere. See, I have a worship leader, and those who are close to me know. I have a worship leader, and I have some people within the prophetic spectrum where I operate, who are my friends, who are my daughters and sons, and those I also look up to. Who, my worship leader, if I tell him, hey, bro, we are jumping, he's just going to say, how high do you want me to jump? Now, do you think I will not be looking out for his progress or her progress? Don't you understand? And I'm saying it is not about money. It's just about contextualized value. Remember what we are discussing if you're just joining. I'm speaking to us on one master key. I say he opens the door anywhere and everywhere. In London, in America, wherever you may be. If you do these things, it will endear people to you. It will raise your status. It will build your social capital and your asset. And at the end of the day, it pays you. It pays you. It pays you. Okay? And I think if you've not listened to some of the last 3, 4, 5 episodes, please go and listen to them. Because I share some very practical experiences on how my life has come through. And let me even backtrack and then speak to even my life, how one way or the other. I just remember while I was putting this together, that in career, there was a time I traveled because I was a marketing and a salesperson. I was in a multinational company and I traveled out of my city. And when I went to the field, I met with a lady. She was very cheerful. She was very open. She was very accommodating. And we started talking, trust me. And as we spoke and talked, it became clear that I just asked her to say, are you happy what you're doing? She said no, she was a merchandiser. If you know a merchandiser, merchandisers are people who are like promoters who go in store. So we recruit them. They are not permanent. Some of them are permanent, but that's all. And she said to me, she's been doing this merchandising job. She was in the eastern part of Nigeria as at that point. And that she was doing this merchandising job that she really won't want. I said, would you like to do marketing? I just asked her straight up. I think I was marketing manager. Would you like to do marketing? Oh, and she said, yes, I won't mind to do marketing. And I said, okay. And I took that point off. Came back to the head office and began to say, I began to tell her, you need to close here. You need to close here. You need to do this. Look, I can't remember how it happened, but long and short, this lady joined my department and came in marketing. Guess what? I'm proud of her. As of today, at least until she retired early out of business, she was a marketing director. She did me proud. And each time I look at her, I remember the story where she was. Right in the field, that was sales. But by interaction, by behavior, I know. I brought her into marketing, and today, by God's grace, and I'm proud of her until tomorrow. If I call her, in fact, recently, I try to look for things for them. I still do that. If you are within my network, I'll be looking out for you. You must succeed. You must be empowered. You must do well. You must hit what God has put in you to do. So sometimes, even now, I'm still looking out to say, you can do this, you can do that. Yeah, negotiate it, you can do it. This is what we're talking about, contextualized value. Where you look at somebody by observation, by experience, by speaking to people who know them, you are looking at the gaps in their lives or the areas where they need help most at that point in time. That little thing you do, the impact of it sometimes is bigger than those who are going to give them millions of naira. And that sticks. Even when you go abroad. And that's why I say it works everywhere. But it's contextualized, it's situational, because what works with one is not going to work for the other. Okay, my goodness, I'm looking at my time. How God will run. All right, so there are 3 levers. I call it the HMD model. All right, that model talks. First is your heart. Heart, H-E-A-R-T. You must be helpful to others. I've said that very importantly. Let it be your standard practice. If an elderly person is, and that's what we talk about, values and culture and value. What has changed in Nigeria? Those days when you see an adult, not just that you greet. If an adult is carrying something heavy, you help an adult carry. If you're sitting, an adult can't be standing and you're sitting in the bus or anywhere. You stand up. That's still happening in Europe. Oh, thank God for that. In Nigeria, God bless Nigeria. The young person will even use shoulder to bruise and brush you. Don't even talk about when you are driving and people want to cross. They carry load. Elderly people carry load. The courtesy to just slow, check your back and be sure it's safe to slow down. So we need to go back to these things because this is how God created life. All right. So your heart, I say HMH. Yes, HMH model. Your heart, that kindness. Number 2, your mind. You must know something. You must store up something. Because you cannot give what you don't have. You must develop yourself. Because there are some people, the only way you engage them is what? Is intellectual. Did I hear you say intellectual? Intellectual. Your mind. For them, your engagement is not this physical thing. It's not I'm giving you bread and butter. It's your mind. What do you have upstairs? What value can you give to my business? What comments, what contributions can you make? What contributions can you give? What support can you give mentally? I want to hear you make contributions. Give me comments that make me know that, yeah, you understand what I'm doing. And, you're valuable as far as they're concerned is within us. So you must know. So what did I say? First is your heart, that kindness, God-mindedness, that heart. Number 2, your mind, which is education, some learnings. Learn something every day, every time. Let me tell you, if you're following me, for example, if you want me to mentor you, and I've experienced that severally. People who say, oh, you are my mentor. I'm like, I don't even know you. They mentor from afar. What that means is they do what I say. If I say this, they do. Because as you do those things, you get the results I get. Simple. And I'm telling you to do them from my failures and my learning. Because I've failed in many other areas. I've failed in some things. I've tried them, they failed. So if I'm telling you from experience, so that you won't have to fail where I failed. You don't need to fail where I failed. Hello? So your mind, that's number 2. The third thing is your hand, what you have in your hand to give. I told you the story of the lady who was looking for a job, who stayed with us, who will go out sometimes, and with the little she has, she will still buy small bread because she knows that tomorrow morning, people are many in the house. It's a pastor's house. Sometimes we are 6. Yeah? Many of them those days were looking for jobs. Some of them will stay some will they will sleep in the living room because the 4-bedroom, only me and our children were babies. Do you get? So your heart must be right. Your mind, add something. Your hand, be giving. Come on now, be a giver. Come on. You're going to greet somebody, think of what to give. It's not every time. You may not have every time, I agree. But you must have a heart of. Let me tell you this. Let me drop this. If somebody is being of value to your life, please be giving to them. Give them things. Don't say you don't have. Don't say, and I told you that last week. Don't say, she has money or he has money. What will I now give? I told you. Go and listen to that. How to network upwards. When you think people already have, what will I now give? I don't have anything to give. You are sucking and taking and come on now. You must learn to give. All right. Now, the 5 steps to enhancing this value, right? Let me just read it because of my time. Okay. Make it a daily habit. Every day, ask yourself, who have I touched? What value did I create today? Oh, what value did I create today? Who did I help today? I opened the door for someone to make a passage. That's fine. I smiled to somebody today. I did that. Every day before you sleep, think, who did I help today? What did I do? It's not money, I did this. Very important. Because it then becomes part of you. And that's how you go out and exhibit that behavior. And then somebody notices you and your life changes. Number 2, seek avenues to create values for others. Freebies, if you are selling some things, give discounts. I'm very bad in this one. Sometimes everything is just free, which is not right because many times people don't appreciate when it's free. So, but as much as possible, accommodate people, lower prices, pro bono, discounts and all. Then number 3, what you do, connect others, connect people. I told you of I have 1,000,001 stories. Connect people. Each person you meet, ask, try to quickly establish what will be the area of need, what will be the gap, what will be the area of need. Note it. The day you see somebody that has something that can connect them and say, I think maybe somebody will do. That's the way to go. You may not even eventually have the connection, but you're thinking that, that I read law, and I can do this. And then you now ask me if I could do this and that. Wow, the thought is it catches it, and you are there. Your asset is building, is raising, is getting high with that individual. Okay, very, very important. Okay, now suggest and recommend them to opportunities. I've said that. All right. Yes. I think I've given you an example because of our time. Invite them for available opportunities. Yesterday we were somewhere, myself and somebody, and we're speaking. It was a networking meeting engagement, and somebody in that meeting was saying that that his boss does something. Whenever there are opportunities, all his former colleagues, they school together, childhood friends and all, he looks for opportunities for them to do business with the organization. So if there's anybody who for example, can sew, when they were growing up, who can sew, if they have a sewing business here, they need to make jackets or whatever, or folders, something to sew. So if that person reaches out to him, he would even reach out and say, Hannah, there's an opportunity for people to sew. If you can compete, if you can tender your whatever and all of that, And we're like, wow. And this person is a very tall person. What do you think is happening? His social asset is very high. No wonder, if you know the position this person is, he's not even a local person. Global. I'm sure it's the same behavior he's taking up, and that has led him to a level where I'm sure the chairman of the business takes him like a right man person. You never lose on that. You never lose on that, okay? Make it about the other persons always and every time. And let me say this, you are capable. I want you to tell yourself, I am capable. Because sometimes, and I also shared this some time ago, go and look at that if you didn't listen to that, I think 2-3 weeks ago. And it's on YouTube, and I will tell you a bit more about that, so that if you want to replay, and you are not on Instagram, you're familiar here with this channel, you can go on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, I'm trying to make it easy. You know, I think maybe I'll share the link, because it's Hannah-Oyebanjo, Hannah-Oyebanjo there. Otherwise, you're going to meet all my spiritual things there. All right, but Hannah-Oyebanjo is now proper for my professional things. Yeah, and if you get on that channel, please just subscribe to it. I'm just building it. I've just separated it from the 360 Impact, so that for professional works, it's easy. It's one track. You can get it. Okay. 360 Impact is where I do all the other things I do, and I do quite a number of them. Yeah. All right. So, okay. So, you are capable. That's the point. I wanted to encourage someone to say, don't say, oh, you know, I don't like to talk. So go and listen. Go and listen to what I shared before. For those of you who say, look, I'm an introvert, I don't like to talk. Go and read that up. Go and listen to that. Okay. It is called human relations. Contextualized value. This CV at the basis, at the base level is called what? What I say is called it? It's called what? It's called human relations. How you relate. The heart you have for others, okay? And it's a mindset. Finally, an acronym. I try to develop an acronym for value. VALUE. What does it mean? V, value people's time. Value the appointment, get there on time. If you can't reach there, tell them, I'm sorry, I'm held up. I'm going to be late, 15-20 minutes. I'm still on the way. Value their time. Value their money. Value their resources. Value everything people give to you. Don't say it, I deserve it. Value it. Number 2, appreciation. Appreciate. Be appreciative. Text message, thank you. Whatever it is. And I just remember an incident. Someone who is quite close to me, who is very helpful to me in my life. In my area of need, he's always there. I just realized that this person likes moi, as in M-O-I, moi. Like, let me make the times I will have fish. Guess what? Trust me now. On a regular basis, I will do moi in the house and pack his own separate and tell him, oh, moi is ready. Come and carry. And he'll be so happy because he can't see to people. He likes it. Do you understand? So be appreciative. All right. Like I said, your hand be given. L is like what they like. Okay. Love what they love. You know, see the spark in what they like. People like that. So for my mentor, for example, each time I'm learning more about her and what she likes. For example, if there are things she likes to read and all of that, I also want to try and read it up a bit, so that when we are engaging, we can engage on that frequency. It's a connection mode. It's a connection ticket, and it helps. So like what they like, love what they love. All right, as long as it's within the same value. Remember, value ties you together. If the values do not align, that person, you don't have anything to do. It will be transactional. Transactional means you do your business and everybody goes. You are not looking to building a stronger tie and relationship. Okay, now what is the U? This U is very important. Remember, I'm describing now the value. VALU. Undo their negative report. Hello. Undo their negative report. Make them better. Make them appear better. Negate, as in negate other negative voices against them. You know, don't be in collaboration with others to tear them down. If people are speaking some negative things about who you love, who you respect, who you appreciate, put in a word and say, no, I don't agree with you. He's not like that. She's not like that. That's your opinion, but it's not my opinion. And if it's an area where you need to walk away, walk away. Whoever is of value to you, you must undo what people are trying to do that is not of them. Do you understand? They don't even need to know. But that's what it means, because, you know, there are things you're doing, there are energy. The energy within the environment will tell where your alignment is. And it's and there's a way that God There's a God factor in all of these things. You can't be there and somebody is rubbishing the person you know. That person is not like that. And this person is going every overboard and all of that. It's the thing. You can walk away if you have to. If you can't respond, then walk away. Or put up a countenance that make them know that you are not in agreement with whatever they've shared about this person. So be their, what do you call it? What's the word? They are not, I don't want to use image maker because I'm sure you're dealing with authentic people, but be their cleaner, so to speak. And finally, E, explore how they will grow further. Let me tell you, the fact that this person is your mentor does not mean that you can't mention him somewhere. So my mentor who has everything, knows everything and all, if for example I'm in a place and they're looking for somebody of that kind of a status, I make bold to say, yes, I know someone, I think she'll be able to do this, or he'll be able to do this. That is what it is. Are you with me? Explore ways that you can also enhance what they do. There was one of my mentors, senior mentors here. I'll round up on this story because I think my time is over now. So I just went to greet her. She's not in Lagos. No. She just called and said, oh, I'm trying to get somebody, blah, 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 blah. And in my head, I'm like, ma, don't worry, ma. I'm going to, because I do recruitment services, you know, I mean, especially if it's commercial oriented. I'm like, I'll get somebody for you. And right in my head, let me tell you the way it works. In my head, first will be within my circle. Who are the people that qualify, that are looking for job, that I know that they are suitable? I know my eyes can, I am skillful in trying to fix people. So one of my sons came to mind and I called him up. And I said, these people are till tomorrow. He got the job. That role is not the money on that role. The influence on that role. The kind of people this my son has met on that role. You know the kind of roles you take. And you are meeting with the who that is true, because they are coming to meet with your Oga, and it's just taking you higher and higher in life. I round up by saying, you know, there's a lot to say, but above all, remember we are discussing how to build your social capital. I think I'll round up next week on social capital. One more. There's one big, I want to discuss something big. It's another dimension to is all related but different. I'll give you some example and instances next week. Make it a date, Thursday, 12:30. Key it into your, put your timer on. Let it just be. When it's 3 minutes to 12:30, come on in the room. I'll start coming in maybe by 5 minutes earlier. Hopefully, God willing. Is that fine? And there are 4 ways you can engage me professionally. By the way, I just thought, sometimes people are listening and they are saying, Hannah, how can I engage you further? It just dawned on me yesterday. And I'm like, okay, let me tell people because it's there. I'm doing something now. I'm starting a formal mentoring program. I never did formal mentoring for people. No. I did informal, sometimes structured a bit, but now it's formal. All right. And I'm splitting into 2: career mentoring and business mentoring. Okay. Both are linked somewhat, but they're also different because there are some special hacks I'm going to share in both that will not be the same. You know, one will be career, the other is business. And if you run both, we'll see where you place. You know, you can do both, you can do one the other. They are linked. Career is business, business is career. It's another conversation, but let me hold that. So that's number 1. Number 2, peradventure there are corporate people listening to this. You work in your office and all. Well, of course, I do public speaking. We do corporate workshops, and I found that so exciting. I love that. Corporate workshops, especially sales marketing. Oh my goodness. Pull you together. Also leadership boot camps. All of this. We just did some team building work for some people. All of that I do. And finally, you want to say, Hannah, I want to pick your brain. I just want to pick your brain. So we'll talk about that. And you are my people. I'll give you discount, but I will pay. But I will open this brain and there are some things there. All right. There are good things, yes, because they've loaded for some time. All right. Thank you so much for, yes, your lunchtime. Tunde Idowu, thank you. A well-spent lunch break. Thank you. And please leave me comments. I have not been asking for comments. Mona, leave comments. Those will remain here. And if you listen to this later, please leave your comment. Is it worthwhile? What do you think about it? Please give me comments. Very important. And there are questions you want to put in there. Come on, do that. And I'll be glad to come back to you, find a way of answering them subsequently. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good afternoon. Go enjoy your lunch much more. And have a good day wherever you watch from. Thank you. And remember to share it as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.